There we go. Now we're in business. How about that? Great to
Nice
see
job.
everybody. I appreciate y'all jumping over here. Ed, do you want to run through some hellos? And I'm going to fix my mic to the normal position now that we're back to the two of us.
Sure thing. Well, and thank you everybody for showing up. It was so much fun just a minute ago with Father Fish. Had a great time. Uh, and thank you everybody for coming. John Cox, I gotta check you out. I don't know if I'm a member to John Cox's website. Do they have the dots working yet? Three dots.
Not that I'm aware of. I think that they are dismantling that program, at least for the time being.
Well, we have Shy's here. Thank you so much. Danikin. Wait a minute. Danikin's not here. I saw Dan Slate. GRB. Muppets. Jesse's in the house. Normally he does the hellos because he's so smooth at them. And, oh gosh, it moves so fast. I saw Hector Farms. John. Oh boy, it's just.
Tell you what, I'll grab the hellos here in a second if you like. Why don't you tell us one of the ideas you've got planned for tonight? I think it's a pretty awesome idea.
Okay. Well, I've kind of come up with a bunch of goofy things to do tonight, but I don't know if anybody has ever sealed a fish tank on live YouTube, and I've never done it in my life, so I thought it might be fun to watch me do my 50-year-old fish tank. And I'm going to seal it up in a little bit. Let me grab it. It's one of the old antique ones with the metal. And apparently the seals are on the metal side. I didn't have to peel anything off the inside. But I don't trust something that's that old. And seriously, that was my first fish tank. I had a Creature from the Black Lagoon toy thing in it that used to bounce up and down. My dad would trade guppies and cories to the fish stores for trade, and he would give me so much of the money too, and just to be nice to me. And I remember I saved it up to buy that Creature from the Black Lagoon, and that was the coolest thing ever. And I took it out, and somebody sat on it and broke it in half. So if they ever start making those things again, somebody let me know, because I will put that toy back into my fish tank. But I digress. I'm going to seal that up. I don't know. We won't do that first. We'll go through all of our list of things that we got to do tonight.
Gotcha.
I think we ought to talk about Project Persilia. Did I say it right?
Persilia? Yeah, absolutely.
Persilia.
I'm going to burn through these hellos real quick.
Okay.
And I'm going to be in trouble because if I remember correctly, your last name is spelled Cejka, and I can never pronounce it correctly. And we've got somebody in the chat with that last name.
Uh-oh.
So,
that's my little brother.
So we've got Ed's little brother. We've got Petzotics, Wolfie YT, Griffin Fishroom, Codyson, John Cox, Lefty3213A, 44 Magi, Fish and More, The Lovely Candy Overhauls, Sand Creek Aquatics, Mr. Zen, Sicklets 23, Gnarly Fish Tanks, GT Aquatics, John Cox, Lance Jones, The Zen Ginger, Sherry Kramer, Shy Gal Miss Fever, Dan Slee, GRB Aquatics, Muppet 929, HC Aqua, Sandy Dowdy, Case and Shoot, which if I'm pronouncing that wrong, just let me know. Codyson Dragon Lair, Hat Trick Farm, Not Nola Jane Fish Rich, Scott Backer, let's see, Big J's Fish Keeper, Punchy Paints, Tim, which I'm assuming is related to you.
Tim Cheka.
There we go, Cheka. Which I should know that because I was Miss Cheka the whole time we were at the Big Fish Deal because everything was under your name plus mine. So
it was. I was like, what does that mean?
Yes.
Yeah, that was funny. See, I paid for all the tickets and stuff, and so I signed us both up. But I put down James's name, but still, I don't know why they just assumed he was my wife.
Yeah, so I got to be Mrs. Chattanooga Ed for the weekend. And then we got Mr. Zen, Moonstone, hello, Gina French, V-Stag. I think I missed a couple, I'm sure. If I didn't, my apologies. I tried to grab everybody there real quick. Thank you all for showing up. Glad to have you here. I appreciate you coming over here to help support Ed because he's been a phenomenal support to me, and we just love hanging out together. So we'd like to take care of him. Speaking of events, the Big Fish Deal, do you want to give our formal announcement for our plans for events that we have planned thus far?
as of now, we have one thing on the schedule that because we had a lot of things set for this year, and then everything happened. But we are definitely going to Aquashella Dallas over Halloween, and we've reserved the tickets, or we already bought our tickets a long time ago, and that's probably one part. I dropped my pen. One reason why, for sure, we're going to that one over Chicago. We originally asked if we could go to Chicago, if it could be transferred, because we didn't know if the Dallas was going to happen. And they said that we couldn't transfer those tickets. But since they're doing it, we're going to definitely go there, so we aren't going to lose our money. And we've got I talked to the hotel. They're just rebooked us for that weekend. And Chris from Multi-Tank Addiction will be heading down too with us. And he was blessed that he had non-refundable tickets, but they let him reschedule so he can come down during the Halloween also at Aquashella.
Very nice. Thank you for breaking the news to Miss Fever. I hadn't formally told her yet, so I appreciate you doing that for me.
I'm sorry, Shy.
And I'm just going to say, I have to go see the Zens. After that last stream, how can you tell me I got to miss seeing the Zens this year? So,
even though I think they deserve a special trip if we go.
Yeah. Oh no, there are some things in store that get talked about behind the scenes that going to have to happen.
Yeah, maybe if you can get Grandma to watch the kids, we'll take Shy with us and we'll go to Houston and see them.
That might be a possibility. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I think that's going to be.
Kids aren't great, but I don't know if they'd like to go on that long of a drive.
I'm saying my kids aren't that great. I don't think we want them in the car that long. I love them to death, and they're wonderful kids, but no kids in the car for that long are good. That's just the nature of kids, right?
Yeah.
It's like having a dog in the car and saying, "You sit there, don't go to the bathroom, don't yelp, and just be good for 12 hours." There are things that are in its nature.
My dad was a cartographer, and he believed in big trips all over the country by driving. And he got a station wagon. We always had a station wagon, and he would throw me in the way back of the station wagon where there's no seat belts or anything. But I used to just be happy sitting back there, and it was basically the trunk with a window. And it's so funny to think that kids did that 30 years ago.
Oh yeah. So I will. I don't want to say warn anybody, but just up front, let everybody know if you're coming from the previous stream, it was a little bit more structured. This is a little bit more laid back and freestyle. If you got any questions whatsoever, feel free to throw them in the chat. Again, if you throw at Fish Room Fever in front of it, that does help highlight it so that we can make sure to get that. But it's pretty much open forum. Questions, comments, concerns, feel free to throw them in there. We're going to have some fun tonight. And yeah, Candy said that Jesse needs to go to the one in Chicago. So I'm going to have to try and play that excuse to go to that one because Candy's going to be at that one. So
yeah, Candy's the huge draw to Chicago. Of course, I could always see my brother on the way to Chicago, which is cool. My brother's in St. Louis. I know Chicago really well. I used to go there the cat's crying to get out. We'll let him go and see if he distracts. Oh, and my sister-in-law's here, Ann Jacob. Thank you, Ann, for showing up. But I forgot what I was saying. The cat cried and threw me off. Oh, going to Chicago. We were planning on doing Chicago, but that was before Aquashella, had 6 months apart from each other. So we're going to have to see how that works out, for sure. But the one thing about Aquashella being in Dallas is one thing that I do traditionally is I do Halloween big. I do a Halloween costume every year. I mean, you guys saw me do my Murphy for last year, so I'm going to be doing something for Aquashella, and I hope other people do. I don't want to be the only person in costume.
I agreed that I would do a costume for Aquashella if Ed was willing to go because I know how important Halloween is to him. So we'll see what happens there in terms of what I come up with or what Ed comes up with for me.
Yeah. Oh my God, I just had a good one. Oh, well, I'm not going to bring it up right now. but it's good.
Dragon
Okay.
Lurker saying basically, I'm saying Ed doesn't look at chat. Well, no, the way he's set up is he usually doesn't have the YouTube chat or he's not in it. So a lot of times you can't even highlight him because he's not active in the YouTube chat. Whereas if you highlight me, I've got it blocking half of Ed's face right there so that I can look at you all and read that.
Yeah, when
I'm
I'm in YouTube, I see myself moving around 5 minutes ago. Well, maybe 15, but it really throws me off. So I stay in StreamYard, but the negatives are chat's kind of jumpy and it's all real dark. And if I really want to read it, I need to put on the glasses. So
We've got
there's
a suggestion from Not Nola Jane Fishrich says that I should be a merman. Miss Fever mad because I'm wearing a costume for you and not her. We won't digress into that.
you're wearing it for YouTube.
Yes, that's exactly it. Wearing it for YouTube. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be my first big fish convention. Big Fish Deal was my first fish convention, period. Oh, here's a good question for Ed. I'm going to let you run with this one because you've got a lot more experience than I do, even though I've got a lot of guppies now. Case and Shoot says breeding tips for guppies.
Oh, okay. Oh my
And
gosh,
I'll
there's
be
so
right back with you because I know this is going to be a long-winded answer.
yeah. Well, I mean, there's a bajillion different things you can do for guppies. I like to use high protein food, regular water changes, and you got to give your fry somewhere to hide. I think that's huge. So get some type of plant life in there, or if you don't have plants, use a breeder box, and because I mean they'll munch on their babies, so it's rough. Trying to think of other major tips. Don't put them in with piranhas; they won't last too long. I like using 20-gallon longs. You can probably put them in any tank, but the 20 long is easy because you can grab them out easy. Anything that's short, you can use low. Nice thing about short tanks is you can get a more affordable light that will penetrate the water because it's only a foot deep. So you can grow plants really easy. Just 20 longs are my go-to tank. The bad thing about them is they're just not as much fun to decorate. But I hope that was a few things. Here's some people argue this substrate for their guppies. A lot of people don't put any substrate at all. They have the glass bottom. I like having substrate because I think that the fry can all blend in, and guppies at night like to sleep on the bottom. So those little fry, when they're sitting on the bottom, can get pounded on pretty good, chewed up. And their brothers and sisters will eat them too. I found that the male guppies do the best job at not eating the babies. It's more the mothers and the juveniles. But yep, that was my 2 cents, and we'll see if James has any opinions on that. But I did
I
want to.
agree wholeheartedly with everything you said while I was not listening because I was in
Oh,
the other room.
oh, and hard water. If your pH is low, like my pH has been kind of low here lately. I don't know what's going on. So I bought these little bags, but you could also like use old pantyhose or nylons and put crushed coral in them and tie it off on both ends and stick it like you can do a couple different things. You can stick it in if you have a hang off the back filter, or you just throw it in the corner and let it soak. It'll do a great job. I plan on dropping a bag of crushed coral in both of my tubs that I'm going to be doing guppies in this summer. And I can't believe it just keeps staying cold. It's mid-May, and our temperatures are finally starting to warm up. So hopefully
Yeah.
I can get it. I mean, it's going to be 80s for the rest of the week, but at night it's still dropping down to the 50s and 60s. So it's a drag. But James, did you have any other suggestions for guppies? Heat. Temperature of your tank is important. I like to keep mine at about 75. I know people will bump up the heat to kind of get them to pop a few more out, but I don't know. I kind of like to keep mine at 75 just because it seems to be easier temperature for everything to go forever and go on. But yep, that's.
Then we have John Cox asking, what are good selling, good outdoor tubbing species? I have 2 IBC totes with tops cut and full of green water. I have several other things with water as well, from 100 gallons down to 30 gallons. Generally speaking, you can't go wrong with guppies. And I don't just say that because of the May Project Posilia celebrating our love for live bears. A lot of times it's hard to find quality guppies, even if it's muck guppies, even if it's fancy guppies. A lot of times they've got weak genetics and they're not really hardy fish. Even I was watching Michael's Fish Room earlier. He was talking about how his muck guppies sales really took off after tubbing his mutts outdoors, and how people have, he sells at least five packs a week. So, 25 fish a week. But also, if you've got a local fish store that is willing to do some bargaining with you or some bartering, whether it be selling them to them or even store credit, that's a phenomenal thing. And a lot of it does depend on your location, but I think that's a fairly safe bet to say that good quality hardy guppy is welcome just about anywhere.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think guppies are one of the chief sellers. Like, they're up there with neon tetras at your local pet store. And you may not get the cash. You're not going to get the cash that they get because they got to pay all the bills and everything. But they might give you a trade if, they'll give you pennies on the dollar, but they'll give you some decent trade. So it's a great way to pay for your food and stuff like that. And it's fun. And another fish that I would recommend is plecos. Mm-hmm. And I mean, James is the pleco guy, but they're going to love the summer algae, and they're going to go crazy if you throw some caves in there.
Oh, yeah. Get you some bristlenose in there if you've got a nice set of blue-eyed lemons even, or, something along those lines. And to elaborate even more, you've got, down to 30 gallon. You could take that 30 gallon and use it for a nice specific strain of guppies if you've got a specific strain already. That way you're not investing a large 100+ gallon tub into a trio or a pair or, just a few guppies. But that's going to bring you a little bit higher dollar value on the resale. Depending upon location, again, you may or may not be able to sell those to the fish stores, but a lot of times you could list those online for local sales or even on like a Get Gills to make some money that way.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I'm planning on doing for my 2 tubs. I'm planning on doing my blue Moscows. I've got incredible small blue Moscows, and they're too small for me to compete in IFGA. So what I've done is I have purchased the large males that aren't as good quality, but they're pretty. And I'm going to and they haven't been, I'm trying to mix everything and trying to get a big one. I haven't been able to, so I'm going to put all my Moscows, because I've got 1 tank of nothing but smalls and a tank of the trying to grow them big. And I'm going to just throw them all in the tub and see what happens. And if it doesn't work, I'm not ever going to probably win anything in blue Moscows anyway in the IFGA, because that's like the most prime fish in the IFGA. And for those that don't know what the IFGA, that's the guppy competition organization.
Yeah, International Fancy Guppy Association, I think.
Yeah.
So I laughed at myself because I see that John Cox's question got split into 2, and I didn't see the bottom part until I scrolled down a little bit further. But basically says, tired of raising guppies, LOL, after we recommend the guppies. So here's what I would say. I would say do some sort of ancestress, do a bristlenose pleco of some sort, and then do some Neocaridina shrimp, depending upon exactly where you're at in temperatures. But they can handle a really wide temperature range. There's videos even of them being alive under ice. They can handle some warmer temperatures too. But if you're tired of guppies, that's an easy one in terms of trying to mass produce and make some money. Fish, I'm sure we've got some good comments in the chat, but I've just not done. Yeah.
Try to figure out a good plant because plants grow like crazy in your tub. And I don't know if he wants to sell in good gills, but
Yeah.
I mean, you can also sell plants all sorts of ways. And I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
plants will go crazy outside if you're really trying to make money. I would do the plecos outside. Um, and then, I don't know, maybe those real fancy white clouds with the red fins. I don't know. I'm just trying to think outside the box for trying to sell something that you're just trying to make money. Because the thing is I'm going to say that and now everybody's going to do it. So
Right. Well, you've got HC Aqua brings up a very valid point, and Corey even discussed this earlier. Rice fish are the craze lately too, and trying to find them hasn't necessarily been easy with all the import issues. Lefty 3213A bringing up Java moss. That's a good one. I've found that you can't hardly grow Java moss, and depending upon location, Edgar guppy grass is in really high demand up here in Knoxville. Like
oh,
I can't get it out of my tanks quick enough to keep them supplied up at the LFS. So you might want to bring some this way next time you're headed up here.
yeah, I had a bad situation happen to me with my guppy grass. I was going to ship out 8 boxes of guppy grass to people, and I noticed my fish were a little too big, and I've got there was a tank that only had 3 female guppies, but they looked like they were pregnant, but they weren't pregnant, and I don't know how, but I believe they've got worms, and I don't know how I could have got worms in my tank, so I didn't want to send any of that guppy grass after all, so I ended up pitching it, and so I plan on just cleaning out a whole lot of my guppy grass and then selling it from one of my nicer strands of guppies, or not selling it, but sending it out to those people that I promised it to. But the tank that I take it out of, generally, I don't want to give anybody any of that because I'm just going to pitch it all. I don't want to deal with the worms, and I don't want to give anybody else worms. That'd be horrible.
I understand that. Fishkeeper Cole says, Fishroom fever. I think one of my Corys is sick, but I don't know what it has. It keeps flashing against the sand on both sides, and it's swimming erratically. Any clue of what it has and the meds for it? So here's the problem with trying to diagnose stuff like that. It's kind of like somebody calling you and saying, my car is making this sound. It's really hard to give an accurate diagnosis, and it can be difficult to do something, to tell you something, and when it could be the wrong thing to do. Zen Ginger is asking some questions about it, but here's what I would recommend, honestly, because I know you have a channel and I know you upload videos. I would upload a video of it. Just, it doesn't have to be a YouTube video and you can take it down after the fact, but I would get a video of it, throw it up there. That way we can get some eyes on it, because being able to see something makes it so much easier to diagnose. So if you do that, I will definitely check back and look at it, as I'm sure we probably got a dozen people in the chat that would be willing to come through and look at that video and try and help you figure that out.
Fishkeeper Cole, that might be a major hit. Say, my Corey, my sick Corey, check it out. And you might get all sorts of people, checking it out. And if you get, like, what type of Corey it is, put that in there. Make it really specific, and you might get a lot of hits also, but you'll get a lot of good ideas. One of my videos was my movers cracked my 200-gallon tank, and I videotaped it just asking people what to do. And I don't know if I really got any good ideas. I think I went on my own, but still, I did it, and it was fun to talk about to everybody, and people made it so I wasn't depressed and just threw it away. So that was good.
Absolutely. Bob Kaler, Kaler's Aquatics, has a very good comment. Says rice fish are actually hardier and better beginner fish than guppies these days. I could definitely agree with that, especially given the the quality of the mass-produced commercial guppy at this point. It's just not great.
Yeah, I would love to get my hands on some rice fish. That was one of my plans. I was planning on doing a greenhouse here. That's not this summer. That's the following summer's goal. And I would like to do some rice fish and white clouds in my greenhouse. And basically, I want to do it because I've been warned that it gets way too hot here in the summer. So I was going to do it with walls that could come down and basically make it like a gazebo during the summer. and then a greenhouse during the winter. Because we have such mild winters here, I just think it'd be awesome to take advantage of that. And then maybe I'll try to do some fun plants. I can't believe how much I've gotten into plants. 2 years ago, I was a complete failure at plants. And just watching a lot of these other YouTubers and doing what they told me to do, I'm doing all sorts of stuff. Today, check this out. I bought 2 bags of this dwarf sage. And I can't wait to plant that. And it's going to be fun. But I also, that was in my local pet store, Aquatic Aesthetics, and he had a great deal today. He was selling jade corridoras for $1 a piece. And
oh, wow.
I bought 18 of them. I mean, they're young. That one of the local breeders brought in 140 of them. Just a local guy. And whenever I hear local, I just get more giddy over that. So, yeah, 3 of my guppy tanks are going to get those guys, and I'll probably get more once I move some more tanks into my fish room.
Very, very nice.
Yep. So, but we never did talk about Project Pasilia.
No, we hadn't. We skirted around some guppy conversation, and we've got some people that are trying to help Fishkeeper Cole out.
For sure.
And my only problem is without being able to give a certain answer on things, I hate to tell you wrong. I'd hate to be the one that said it's this, give it that, and then your fish dies because it wasn't this. It was like case in point. If you're trying to treat, certain bacterial infections, and you've got columnaris, and you jack the temp up to try and cure something, well, columnaris multiplies exponentially when you jack the temperature up. It's one of those things that a lot of times we say, turn the heat up and give it some salt, and it'll be fine. Well, the way it divides, the temperature actually makes it worse. I found that out the hard way when I first got into guppies, getting in the hobby with those generic mass-produced guppies that we talked about. But Project Pasilia, and it's funny. I actually went on Michael's fish room earlier. I was watching his video, and it was about muck guppies. So I went in and made my comment, and I threw the hashtag Project Pasilia, and he's like, "What's that?" And so I explained it on there. I don't know if he ever commented back, but I was like, just trash the comment if you don't like it. It's fine. But basically, Project Pasilia, we are taking the month of May to celebrate the genus Posilia. Guppies in words are hard, as Candy would say. Guppies, endlers, and mollies. A huge focus on guppies specifically because they're a great overall fish, and a lot of times they're underappreciated. They're great for beginners in the hobby. It's one of those things. You've got people that started with guppies decades ago, and then I'm at the opposite end of the spectrum. I've stayed away from guppies, for years and years and years, and just recently got into them a few months ago and have absolutely fallen in love with them, and it kind of reinvigorated my love for the hobby. Not that it was lacking, but it gave me something new that I'd never done that I just brings total joy to me. So that's what it's about. There's no type of financial anything attached to it. It's not a sale or anything like that. It's just, if you've got some guppies or, endlers or something that's in the Posilia genus, and you throw up a picture or video and you tag it with hashtag Project Posilia, just join the community movement. That's really all it is a community movement.
Yep, we're just doing it for fun. There's no profit whatsoever, no money or anything. Yeah. It's all volunteer. We've gotten a lot of people volunteering stuff though, which is great. And we have 3 categories and then 2 subcategories. So our first category, and everybody
if I can interrupt you real quick before we get any further, just to avoid confusion. What we've got going on the side of Project Posilia. Now, if you want to do the Project Posilia, that's just showing your love for the fish. If you want to be a part of the contest, which has gotten some really, really awesome prizes going at this point from some phenomenal sponsors, that's going to be on the page Ed is about to tell you about, and that's going to be hashtag Posilia entry. And we do have people that are searching YouTube as well as Instagram for those tags, but that's going to be Posilia entry if you want to get in on the contest. Sorry, go ahead. I just wanted to clarify up front.
And Monica Lynn, I will get to you on my puffer in just a second because that's a fun thing to talk about too. But we've got 3 main categories. Everybody can enter the 3 categories once. So you can enter one photo, and it can be, you have to take the photo. And it can be any, well, of the guppy, the inler, the molly. But you take it, you can do any type of custom work. You know how, like, when you go to Instagram, you can do different lens and make it all reverse, whatever. Or you can say a funny joke coming out of the fish's mouth. Whatever you want, or write it on there, whatever you want to do, it's totally cool as long as it's your photo and not Jimmy's or somebody awesome like Jimmy's. So that's the first category, is the photo competition. The second is the video. The video has to be between, well, I guess it has to be more than 1 second, so it'd be more than a video, more than a photo. But it has to be it has to be shorter than 3 minutes. So if you guys want to do a short little video on your YouTube channel and then tag it, it'll be in the entry. As long as it's about one of those fish or all the fish, it's just however you feel that you want to express that fish. And so the video is totally up to you. If you want to say how they live, just show them swimming. I did a video of my steel nymphalia. The boys were doing their dance, and I put it to music. So, I mean, you can do whatever you want with that. So totally creative, just no more than 3 minutes. And then the third category is art form. This can be any form of art form, I guess, other than photography or video, but you can make paper mache. You can paint, you can take an egg, hard boil it, paint a guppy on there and cement it. Whatever you want. You can do a dance. You can wrap it. And I'm not going to wrap this time. I tried to wrap last time and that was a bad mistake.
I think Bob Kaler at Kaler's Aquatics has promised an interpretive guppy twerk video, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice. He could maybe shape his mullet so it looks like a guppy too. That'd be pretty awesome.
There we go.
I don't know how. He probably needs a little longer to grow his mullet out, though, so he has a better mullet. But so that is totally up to you. Paint it, draw it, use crayons, use chalk, any media you want, clay, mud, carve it from a tree. If you're good at tree carving, that'd be awesome. So that's the third category. And all 3 of those categories will be given the winners will be given a certificate of winning that category of this year. They will also, Diego from Pet Exotics has sponsored all 3 of those categories. As long as the person is a winner from within the United States, he's got a plant package for them, which is totally awesome, and people should go and buy their pet supplies and needs from him. He has a wide variety of pet supplies. And then we've got the River Life. What's Rack calling it? The River Life Inspirational Choice?
Yeah.
Inspirational Posilia Choice. Rack is going to be the only person judging this category. And he's going to look, because he's the guy who came up with the whole idea of the month. So he's going to go and he's going to look at everything, and whatever he looks at and says, that's awesome, that touches his heart, will be a winner for him, or in his category. And I know that he's got something special. I know we got a certificate for that, but I think he's got something special for the person that wins that Do we have any other sponsors for that category? I don't know.
I'm trying to find on the Facebook page if we have a list of the sponsors up anywhere. I'm wondering if maybe, and I'm making more work for people, and I'm sorry that I am, but I'm wondering, since I'm not the Facebook guru, if we can find a way to get a listing of the sponsors, maybe even put the text over the banner that we've got on that Facebook page, because we've got a lot of awesome sponsors. We've got Guppy Guru. I don't know if you mentioned him. I was trying to find the Facebook page.
Well, that's for the grand prize.
Gotcha.
So let me get to the grand prize, and we'll just see how well I can remember all this stuff. The grand prize is the overall best of everything, and that will be judged by I don't know who's judging it. We'll list off the judges. Go to the website; it'll be there. But that'll be the overall number one winner of all of the things. So either the best photo, best video, or best form of art form. And I know I'm one of the judges. I'm not going to vote for somebody who's already won, so it'll be another category, at least for me. But I know that the Guppy Guru has made an amazing trophy for it, and so a super cool trophy goes to the grand prize. Priscilla is going to draw I believe it's a 4x6 drawing of their fish, which is awesome. Trying to think. We'll also give a certificate, and I'm not for sure. I think there was some other grand prize. We're going to do our best, and I'm going to donate a Chattanooga Ed t-shirt to the grand prize winner. Not that that's super cool, but it'll be one of the first Chattanooga Ed shirts ever sent out. So that'll be close to me. And unfortunately, my brother and sister-in-law might still be here, but you'll probably get that for Christmas. But you guys could still compete. That'd be awesome if my brother would get into guppies. But was there anything else that I
was to say, Bob Kaler's Aquatics also offered to be a sponsor. And then I am going to be throwing something in there, but I haven't decided exactly what yet. There's so much coming in, and it may be dependent upon the winner's area. So if it's somebody in the U.S., I may toss in a trio of guppies. If it's somebody that I couldn't ship livestock to, we'll figure out something else, maybe a piece of merchandise of their choice or something. We'll figure something out, but I'm definitely going to throw something in there as well. But as Ed mentioned, all of this tying back to Rack at the River Life YouTube channel. He's the one that came up with this idea, and it just kind of took off like fire. We've got 60 members currently on the Project Posilia Facebook group there, and it's wonderful. It's a community movement. To tie it all back into Rack, we are going to have the announcement of the winners on his stream, date and time to be determined at this point, but just kind of to bring the whole thing full circle back to him, and showing the community love there. But yeah, I encourage you to join up there, put it in a request. We've got some phenomenal people such as the Zen Ginger, Lefty 3213A, and Guppy Guru that are constantly monitoring that. And they're what's the word I'm looking for here? Accepting those requests or approving those requests quicker than I can even get to them when I see something pop up. So it doesn't take long once you put in a request there. We get you in the group. And you can also post, just Project Posilia content. It doesn't have to be exclusively contest content on the site. You can talk guppies. We can have all sorts of fun conversation about it. And of course, endlers and mollies too.
Well, and I did think of one of our rules. It's worldwide. We'll ship it to anybody. Some of the prizes may not be able to be shippable, but we'll do our best. The only thing is that Facebook and YouTube demands the age of 15 and older. Or not 15, 18 and older.
Yeah. We're keeping it 18 and over to cover all legal bases, because none of us want to get in trouble. So as much as we hate to exclude anybody, we've got to keep it 18 and up. just so that we don't have any legal ramifications, because Lord knows we may violate some city ordinance in some town that we've never even heard of by allowing a minor to enter something. So,
But we aren't going to be checking IDs. Just throwing that out there. Okay. Um, so I think we did a pretty good job on throwing that all out.
I believe so. I know there's a
Okay.
lot there to unravel, but if you go to the Facebook page, Lefty has been kind enough to, or was it Lefty? Yeah, has been kind enough to lay it all out there with the rules. And then he's also mentioned in the chat, once we're going to get that list compiled of all of the sponsors for this. And again, this is not, these people aren't making anything off of this. There's no money coming into this. There's no money involved with it. These people have all decided to sponsor this as a sign of, supporting the community. They're spending their money to offer these things up, just to show support and love for the community. So I definitely recommend, if you're not familiar with any of those people, you go check them out, show them some love. They got to be great people to do what they're doing, right? And they've got to be involved with some guppies. So, go check it out. Hey, Big J's Fish Keeper, he's been posting a lot of Project Quasilia content over there. He's got some awesome stuff going on. But let me make sure I didn't miss anything in the chat. I don't think it did. Bob Kaler's Aquatics, gotta love it. It says, I asked for likes, and Codyson has graciously encouraged the same. I don't generally ask for likes in my live stream, but guess what? This isn't my live stream. This is Ed's live stream. Am I even pointing the right way? I can't see my screen. So I can do that and not feel bad about it. Give this guy some likes if you would, please. He's been an awesome friend and supporter of me. And y'all are doing a pretty darn good job. Look at that, 47 watching and 48 watching now, 43 likes. So thank you for helping to support this guy, because he has supported me and just been a good friend. So thank you.
Well, okay, so we've talked about that. You know what? Let's just talk about my puffer real quick.
Absolutely.
She's been a lot of fun. I originally named her Jabba after Jabba the Hutt because she kind of looked like Jabba the Hutt. That's when I thought she was a boy. She's got the big eyes and the body, just like Jabba. But Bob is awesome and sexed her, and turned out it's a her. So I took a while to give her a name. I thought about giving her Jabba the Hutt's sister's name, and I was like, oh, that's a terrible name. I don't even want to pronounce it. So I'm not, and nobody would know who it is unless they watch the cartoons. So it just, one day I always talk to my animals, and I called her a sweet potato. And so I said, you know what? That's going to be your name. You're going to be Sweet Potato, because she kind of looks like a little sweet potato. She's real funny. She likes to sleep on the sponge filter, which I think is incredibly smart. She found the most comfortable thing to sit on, and so she's always sitting on that sponge filter. At first, she was eating the bloodworms, the jumbo bloodworms, but after about 3 days, she totally stopped. So I went to the krill, and that was another suggestion. Bob's the puffer man. If you guys want to learn about fish, go to Bob Kaler's channel, because he's got all sorts. It's Kaler's Aquatics. Thanks, Bob, for popping your name up there for me. But you'll learn all sorts of stuff, and he is just, I'm blessed to have him as a neighbor, and he has so many puffers, he can give me advice all the day long. So he told me to use frozen krill. And I tell you what, she loves the frozen krill. Of course, I thaw them out, but it's funny because I drop them in there and they kind of go down like this, and she'll nab them out of as they come down. She likes to swim and attack them, but if they hit the ground, she won't touch them. And I even left them in there for like a day, and she wouldn't touch them. So I started going, and I use a shrimp net, and I scoop it back up, and I do it again, and then she'll hit it. So she only wants moving things. And if it stops on a leaf or something, she'll just sit there and look at it until I knock it loose. She only wants the moving stuff. So, yeah, her name's Sweet Potato. I'll have to do some research and try to maybe make a 3-minute video or something on dragon puffers. I don't know very much, so I'm learning as I go. My first I told you guys the story about my puffers I had in the past. I had 2 pea puffers I bought from Walmart. I'm not going to say rescue because I wasn't thinking about rescuing them. I just wanted them, and they were devoured within seconds. I dropped them in my tank, and all I had was big fish tanks. And I got this reputation for little fish, but when I lived in St. Louis, I didn't have time for a lot of tanks, so I just had a couple of big fish tanks with big fish, and they got devoured instantly. So that wasn't very smart, but oh well. But yeah, that's my puffer info. Do you have any puffers or anything, James?
I do not. I have no puffers. I've seen a couple that I've really, really liked, but I just don't have an appropriate setup for them, and that's kind of the thing that's held me back. Is I don't want to get one um, just to get one as much as I'd like one. I want to make sure that I've got an appropriate home for it to go into. But right now, everything is kind of mass community of things that might not necessarily be recommended for the beginner, but we managed to get along and work out together. So I don't want to throw any balances off anywhere. Real quick, I do want to say, it was tied up for a second. We had 49 watching and 49 likes. Now we've got 52 watching. We've got that 49 likes still. So thank you all for supporting this guy. I appreciate that. Let's see.
She did eat one other thing. Was I wanted to test the water before I put her in it. So I snatched out one of my mollies, which sounds terrible, and I threw her in the tank to make sure that it didn't keel over, for whatever reason. Some chemical got in my tank I didn't know about. I do that for a lot of my fish as I have a sacrificial lamb. But normally I can scoop them out and throw them back in the molly tank. Literally, it disappeared. I left the molly in there, and then I put her in there, and I thought about it after I put her in there. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to think about that molly. And I turned around, and the molly was swimming around at the top, minding its business, and this little puffer that was down in the corner somehow went and back. It was amazing. I didn't see it at all, but yeah. Project Basilia. I've had one to my puffer like that.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have an update on that I haven't actually shown or talked about anywhere. And that is, for anybody that's unfamiliar with it, this is actually a 2-tank system, kind of like what you'd see in a fish store, except it no longer has the dividers. But it's got an identical tank below it that it sits underneath, about 75 gallons. And I've got about 100 guppy fry / juveniles down there now. I pulled them out of the 40-gallon muck guppy tank and moved them down there. So we're going to have a 75-ish gallon muck guppy tank along with the 40-gallon muck guppy tank.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, does that have did you make that backdrop, or does it have a 3D backdrop?
I did not make it. It does have a 3D backdrop. It's actually got, cool. And you'll have to forgive my newbies because I've got a whole bunch of trimmings. I actually cut down that one mother plant that was in the piranha tank, and I got about 7 good ones out of there, including one that's actually got 2 flowers on it. But that's just kind of blocking. But all of those sections there, those are actually ledges that come out. So it's got a lot of 3D area. It's really great for rhizome plants. So I've got some bulbitis in there, and I'm going to put some different things that don't require being in the substrate, that don't go in the substrate, on those ledges to kind of give it a really nice look. The bottom does not have that 3D background. It's got a standard flat background to it, just the glass. But they seem to be doing really well in there. And I'm looking forward to, I'm just going to keep pulling the fry out of the 40-gallon breeder as I come across them. Not hunting down every single last one, but, scoop out 5 or 10 or 15 at a time and keep moving them down below, and we'll see what we come up with. I know I've got some strain fry from a bunch of different strains that I'm sure I'll have to pull at least 1 or 2 out of that aren't right for that particular strain's genetics. So we'll add them into the muck guppy tank and see what we can freshen up in there that way.
That's awesome, man. Someday we got to get not 3D, an underwater camera, because these cameras do not do his tanks justice. He is some really neat tanks, and it's
Well,
a
thank
lot
you,
of
Ed.
fun to check out. Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it. Going to check all your fish tanks out. Well, okay. Well, I got the project. I don't know if you guys want me to try to do that. Here's another project that I've been doing, and I literally ran out of my lid handles, but these go over my 20-gallon tanks. They're the polycarbonate, and I mean, of course, I take one with the worst tape job. I ran out of tape halfway through at the very end, but I used the Gorilla tape, which it's the clear tape, but it's like super strong. I don't know if you guys can see the Gorilla in there. And I use that, and I mean, you can't see the Gorilla tape, but yet it's mega strong on there. When I cut it,
Here, hold on a second. Let me do this. There we go.
there's one side that's always got a curve to it. So I make sure that side is always on the handle or the lid, so that way it's going to be curving into the square on the other. And I don't know if anybody ever really talked about that, but I find it helps a lot, because if you have two ends that are, just square rough, I don't know, it's probably rough. It doesn't open, but if you do that round in the hinge, it works great. And then Dollar Tree sells these little hooks, and they come 4 for $1. And these things are awesome for lifting. And I bought the last 3 in my town. I went to Hickson today. That's another suburb of Chattanooga, and went to the Dollar Tree there. They were sold out. So I don't know. I need about another 12 or 16 of those things. So the next time I go to one of those, I'm just going to buy it out. It's that's a 20 long, Bob. So that's the size of a 20 long. I also did a great one for my puffer tank, and that one actually has like 3 groups of panels, because it's really tough. Ideally, you'd like to get it. The strongest would be to have the lines. You see, the strength would be to go this way, but unfortunately, we can't get the polycarbonate sheets long enough, because they're only 2 foot long, and I need it to be, that's a little over 2 foot. So you can't just cut them straight down the line, which would be awesome. So you got to cut downwards on them all. But it works great for the 20 longs. But, well, James, you want to pop it back to the normals screen? And then what we'll have to do is James will, one of these Mondays, James is going to come out, and we're going to do a live video during his Monday, and we're going to cut him a whole mess of them.
It's going to be a party.
Yeah.
So looking at this reminded me of something that I hadn't mentioned. Just something I've observed. Don't take it as scientific fact. Take it for what you paid for it. I've got the watering spikes in there that I use for pleco breeding caves, and they've worked phenomenally well for all of the ancestral plecos. The snowball plecos have been somewhat reluctant to use them. So the other day I added some more substrate to the tank you're looking at, and I decided to bury those watering spikes downward diagonally and cover the majority of it over, so it was a lot more resembling a hole in the ground than something sitting on top of the surface. And all of the plecos, except for one who has made a home under that piece of driftwood, and that's been his home from the very beginning, have now decided to use those caves versus just one of them. So just something I observed. If you're trying to get snowball plecos to take caves and breed, and they're not wanting to do it for you, try putting the caves into the substrate like that. May work for you. It seems to have worked for these guys. They're a lot more happy with it now. So, all right. So not only is this your first reseal, but it's on an antique tank.
Yeah,
So this is going to be interesting.
I'm using the GE silicone, and you want to go with the silicone 1. So that's important because you don't want the stuff that has a lot of additives. You want 100% silicone, and so you look up at the top and it says silicone 1 GE, and there's other brands have it. Just make sure that whoops, I'm looking at it before I cut it. Maybe I should do that here. Yeah, I'm doing this on an antique. Ugh. That fish tank's older than my little brother that's watching. I don't know if he remembers it.
Sorry, I stepped away for a second. I was going to grab my tube of silicone 1, but I don't have it. I have my tube of silicone 2, which I did not get for aquariums, and you should not get for aquariums. I got it for some window work. But
and this is also it says it's for it's all purpose windows and doors.
yeah, the big thing is you're wanting to find the one that does not say mold free. If it's got mold protection in it, you do not want to use it.
Yes, and it's silicone 1 is the trick.
Yep.
And it's made in America, which always makes me happy. So I'm hoping that I can do this without cussing.
Well, it's on your channel, so go for it, Ed.
Yeah, I'm not monetized yet. One thing I did do is I'm using frog tape. It's basically like the same stuff that painters use to keep paint from getting all over the place. And normally it's blue, but the frog tape is green. But that doesn't matter. I'm not worried about the corners. They're silicone on the outside, but I think I can make a pretty good size mess, and you won't see it because of these metal corners here. I don't know what I'm going to do for a lid because there's no lip on this thing. But I did put it on the bottom, so that way I don't hopefully make too big of a mess. And yes, it is a slate tank, so it's a heavy, old-fashioned tank.
So
yeah.
I was just going to say, for the lid, can you take a piece of polycarbonate and then just cut a very fine trim line that would sit on the inside, kind of like the wooden cookie boxes where the lid doesn't slide off because it's got that inset rim that sits along the inside?
You probably could. You may have to sand it a little because the polycarbonate, the one thing I haven't done yet with these, the reason why they're still upstairs is because I'm going to take them out to the garage and I'm going to blast air through them all because I have like little bits of the plastic sawdust in there that I don't want ever getting into my tanks. But it's kind of sharp and it'll cut you. So not bad. It's just like, so I don't know if I'll do that or not.
Yeah, and Monica Lynn had a very valid point that you can get the 4-foot sections. They'll special order them for you. And then I also bring it up because we've got Aquatic Aesthetics with us in here, Ed. I know that's your local fish store there. That's good to know. He's going to order some for the newest project. So it sounds like you've got some new stuff coming to your local fish store.
Yeah, that's where I got this stuff right here. And I don't want to let any cat out of the bag, but he's going to let me come and videotape some neat projects that he's doing, which
Very nice.
I really look forward to. And he's got a good channel too. On his channel, he's actually got a puffer fish. It's a saltwater puffer fish. I think it's a dogface puffer, but it's completely puffed. And it is awesome. He didn't probably get it in time to see it getting big, but it's full size. And I didn't know what type of puffer it was until it deflated, and you see it deflate. It is so cool. I recommend everybody to try to get over there and watch that. And I would download it and save it because it's worth just showing like your relatives and stuff. But okay, let's see. What did Bob say? I can see
Bob wants to know if you how close you are and if he can come do the fish room tour next week.
Maybe. Let me let him know.
See, I need you to get Bob in there for the fish tour or the room tour because he's got exclusive rights to first dibs on that. So as soon as you
Yes.
can get him in and out of there, then I can come check it out.
Well, I have some lights I would like to get, and I have one more wall. I ran out of paint, so I've got one wall that's still blah, and so I've just got a few little touches. I want to paint the door that goes into my fish room. I'm going to paint a big fish on it, and all they had was the 6-panel doors at Lowe's. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint a big fish on like a huge panel and then screw it to the door. But I'm hoping it'll look cool. You know, I'm kind of crafty. I like doing art, but I'm not going to say I'm an artist. But okay. Well, guys, let's see how this goes. Well, let's go. Here we go. And y'all can give me advice, and I won't be able to see it because I don't have my glasses on. But maybe James will read it.
I don't know how to read, but no. Let's see. Aquatic Aesthetics saying that is a spotted dogface puffer. Thanks, Ed. Let's see. Fishkeeper Cole says the video is only 2 minutes long, but it is still uploading. And then we've got Candy. Thank you, Candy Overhauls, posting the link for that dogface puffer puffs that you were referencing, and Griffin Fish Room for posting the link to the Aquatic Aesthetics YouTube channel there. I do want to say I thought it was funny that you were doing this tonight. I'm going to be doing a video of resealing just a little 10-gallon that needs redone.
I think this is a 10-gallon.
But I'm actually going to, she doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to get my mother to do the resealing part on camera.
Awesome.
She's actually the one that has resealed all my tanks because she's got a lot more experience with that type of stuff. So I trust her hand more than I do mine, even though it's not difficult. But I'm going to do that. I think that'll also help to encourage people. I know a lot of people that get kind of nervous about doing that, or even take the role of, that's a man's job type of thing, being afraid to do it. I've had several females mentioning not wanting to do it and needing a man to do it. I'm like, you don't need a man. Here, we'll do this video. We'll have a woman reseal it. So I think that's going to be fun, and I love hanging out with her.
Getting out of doing it.
Yeah, she's also the one that helps me with my fish rack builds when we build the wooden stands and the wooden racks. So it's always a blast.
His mom's fantastic. And of course, I normally would stick a nail in the end of it, but I forgot to bring a nail. So let's hope it doesn't ooze all over the place, but I'll put it over that. And grabbing. Well, I had some things I was.
Well.
Oh well, I'm just going to use my finger.
Okay, if it's oozing too much, you can just hit that little button, spin the crank so that the teeth aren't engaged, and back that out a little bit if it's pushing too much silicone out.
Oh, that's a smart idea. I don't know if it's even oozing. No, it's just. Okay, well, so far so good. I was going to wear something with long sleeves, and I totally forgot because I'm a hairy guy, and I didn't really want to have silicone arms.
Right.
It's tremendously easy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm quite surprised. And again, normally you would have to take a razor and trim the silicone out. But because of the nature of this antique tank, all the silicone's on the outside. So I'm just going to leave the old seal in there and make my new seal.
We've got a lot of people hollering smooth it out. We've got Aquatic Aesthetics says you need a playing card. Honestly, that's one of the things that I want to show off for her just because it impresses me is she can lay down a bead of silicone that looks like it's been perfectly masked and just do it with her, with her fingertip because she's done it so often. And it amazes me. I can't silicone a tank that well.
Well,
yeah, the tape definitely does help if you're not used to doing it. And then like the playing card trick is great. You can definitely smooth it out with your finger like Ed's doing there. And like you mentioned earlier, he's got that big trim around the outside with it being that old antique tank. So that's going to hide a lot of stuff. Monica had made a great comment earlier about Aqueon makes a black silicone one that is safe to use. So that's also nice stuff. That looks really well done when you seal a tank like that or with that.
I am honestly surprised. I thought that would be a train wreck, and I put a little too much on the side that you guys could see, but the other side it looks real smooth. So what I'll do is I'll have that facing me, or I'll have the ugly side facing me, so you see the more smooth side. But wow, I'm I'm kind of shocked right now. Normally, whenever I try something new on camera, it's a disaster. But so that's going to be my Rachel O'Leary. Did I say her name right? O'Leary?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
She has a Project Scrap Tank going on, and I hope I have enough time. How much longer is that? Is that for the whole month?
She didn't put a deadline on it that I'm aware of.
Well, so what I'm doing is I've been looking at this tank for like 3 years, wanting to do something, but mainly I didn't ever want to seal it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to seal it on camera, and I'll just get it over with. So I did, and that's going to happen. So that's pretty cool.
Very nice. So now that you're back in front of the chat, I'm going to run to the restroom real quick, and I will be right back.
Now I've got I don't know what yet to do inside the tank, because it's supposed to be all scrap stuff. And I've debated about, I have a really cool lake. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to pronounce it. Bob, do you know how to spell that lake that I live next to? Like Uchid. Oh my gosh. Well, I live next to a really neat sounding lake with a cool name. It has the second biggest bass in the country. So we have lots of bass tournaments in my town right here. But I was thinking about maybe going down to the lake and seeing what I can find to put into this tank. Otherwise, I mean, you see, it's supposed to be things from around your fish room, and that's totally not fair, because I've been like stocking up for the last couple months on things to put into fish tanks. So I want to make it kind of hard. And so, yep. Oh, thank you, Zen. Well, I'm 15 seconds behind chat, but she posted the link to the scrap tanks. So, yep. Chickamauga, Lake Chickamauga. Did I say that right? I hope so. But yeah, it's pretty awesome lake. I love it. And it's literally, I'm like a half a mile away, maybe a mile. I don't know. I'm really close. So that's cool. Chickamauga, was that what I said? Yep. Yeah, so I don't know. I would like to do the sand beds that we were talking about with Father Fish. I should have asked him about doing that in a 20 long to see how deep I can get away with it. I think I'll do like an inch of dirt with a 2-inch substrate on top and hope that's good enough.
Yeah, well, the tank that I've got as our background right now, cartoonized, that's actually a 20 long. That's the one that I set up with him on the live stream several months ago. That's dirted and capped with sand.
Well, with yours, did you use gravel that you had around the house, or did you use like dirt and then cap it?
So on that one, I used organic potting soil, dirt, and then I capped it with sand.
Okay, so
I probably need to add maybe another inch of sand, but it's doing really well thus far. And it's got, like I said, little baby plecos everywhere and baby shrimp. So I've been hesitant to throw more sand in there at this point until they're a little bit bigger.
Well, Rob at Aquatic Aesthetics I'm working on it. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna pronounce that right someday. I bought some black sand from him today, so that's gonna be kind of cool too. Because I thought that would be kind of neat to put over the dirt, so you wouldn't see the blend in the colors, the layer. Because I've already did a dirted tank once before, and you can see the layers, and I just don't like that. Let's go down and see what people are talking about. Oh, are they all making fun of how I said Chickamauga? Chica. Let's see. Rob pronounced it perfect, or typed it. Chick-a-maga. Chickamauga? I don't know.
I don't have a dog in that fight.
Well, you're my Tennessee buddy, so as long as you're on my side, it's all right.
Well, that's the thing, though. I'm in Tennessee, but I'm from Florida, and my family actually comes from the north. So, but yeah, I'll make sure. I don't think I missed anything while I stepped away in the chat that you haven't already addressed. I was Fishkeeper Cole says the video is uploaded. Zen will probably beat me to the link, but I'm going to go look for the link nonetheless. See if we can get some people over there.
Oh, for a sick fish.
Yeah, generally I don't encourage people to leave a live stream, but I will say if anybody is decent when dealing with fish sickness, if you want to go check out his video, see what you think, see how many sets of eyes we can get on this, see if we can't get a good potential. Fishkeeper Cole says skip to timestamp 1 minute 40 seconds to see it.
That's awesome. And make sure you hit like and sub to him while you're there.
There you go.
I like Fishkeeper Cole a lot. Oh, he said he'd also like to sponsor one of the categories. He was one of the guys. He said he would like to donate some of his chula wood that he's harvested from the desert where he lives, which is pretty neat.
I'm going to say it before you get murdered in the chat. The choya wood.
How?
Choya. It's kind of like Choya, because that's how the cactus is pronounced. And I only said that because I know the chat's going to come for you hard after the whole Chickamauga thing.
And, that's one thing is I just don't care what people tell me how to pronounce anything. Really.
I know. I have fun fending off the chat, though. So it works out.
When I was
Big Tank Hank.
Yeah, hey, Big Tank Hank. That's awesome. When I was young, I used to have to take speech therapy classes because I couldn't say Old Faithful. I had a hard time pronouncing, so I don't know. I have a pretty thick skin, and that's just how it is. And I still call betas. I try to say beta, but they're still betas to me.
Yeah, but that doesn't work for the new shirt I'm working on with the beta because it's the play on beta in reference to better. So it doesn't sound right if you say beta. But I'm just giving you a hard time. I'm just picking on it.
Or the second shirt.
You haven't seen that shirt yet. I was working on it before the live stream. I actually spent about 5 hours between working on Ed's logo and making some new stuff for Teespring. I've got a whole bunch of ideas. I can't wait until after the first week of June when I get more time to work on this stuff. We're going to have some awesome things coming, including some Chattanooga Ed logoed merchandise, finally.
Yep. The problem with my logo is apparently when you blow it up, it gets pixelated really bad.
Yeah, the file size is extremely small. I think it's like a 90th of my file size. So but we're working on it. GRB Aquatics pointing out we've got 50 likes and 50 watching. Outstanding. Absolutely. Thank you very much, everybody. I appreciate you supporting this guy. We do have the link in the chat for Cole's video. If you'll go check that out, timestamp 1 minute and 40 seconds. We'll see if we can't figure out what's going on with this Corey cat between the group of us.
Yeah.
I know, Ed, you can't really navigate a lot, but I'm sure that we've probably got 5 or 6 people already over there right now checking it out. We've got.
Yeah, I know that I've had them get velvet, like on them, and it normally gets around their barbels up front. It's kind of, I always feel bad when I see it. I used to see it a lot when I was a kid, but I don't really see that much with Cory cats anymore. Cory cats now, there's so many different varieties. When I was a kid, there was like 4 varieties, I think, and they just kept making more, or they didn't keep making, they were finding more and more. But it seemed like they were always sick when I was a kid, and they're just tougher now.
So from what I can see, and bear in mind that my computer's kind of angry right now because we've been streaming for a while and I've got a lot going on running the stream on my end. But what I can see, I'm thinking it is probably Ick. Somebody that can get a better high def look at it, because I'm having to watch low quality right now, could probably answer that better.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, see, there we go. Bob Kaler says it is Ick. Good deal.
Okay.
That's what I was thinking, but when you're watching it 420 or 460 or whatever it is, P, it's kind of, but yeah, so there we go.
Fish Cole, you should have said dang ick. But just, you can do a lot of things. If it's in a planted tank, raise the temperature up for sure. You can't live.
And it's in a planted tank.
Okay, then you don't want to add salt to it because the salt will kill your plants. You can take the fish out, but you still have the problem with it being in your water. So your best bet would be use some Ick-X, but I'd definitely just raise the temperature because you can just burn it out. So get it over. I think it has to be over 82 for Ick to be killed. Is it over 82?
Yeah, generally speaking.
Like 83 or 84, and you should be able to kill your Ick.
Well,
can you get into a full cycle?
I was going to.
Oh, okay.
No, you're fine. You go ahead.
Ick is like, it grows on their body and then it pops off, and it's like it lives through a cycle. And so if you just kill part of it, you can't just wait till it's off the fish because it'll still be living in your substrate and it'll get back on there. So you got to keep the temperature on for a little while.
And Aquatic Aesthetic saying 89. That if you've got fish that can handle it, 89 is almost a guaranteed. But yeah, like Ed was saying, if treating medicinally, you can't do anything to it when it's actually on the fish because it's encased in the cyst. So your time to kill it is when it drops off, and that's when it multiplies. So you've got that time window that you need to get it before it gets back on the fish, and then it gets hardened over again, and then you can't kill it at that point with medication, and it creates a vicious cycle. And yeah, like Bob Keller said, cats can't go to 89. I wouldn't recommend it. Thus my preface, my warning: if your fish can handle it, 89 will definitely do it, but I wouldn't do it with what you've got in there. Anthony's fishy friend saying good night, must get sleep. Anthony, have a wonderful night. Always great to see you. Appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, it's awesome that we see him. Hey, Cody's here.
Yeah,
I'm trying to head to Iowa at the end of this month for Memorial Day, but I can't because of the whole sickness, which is a bummer.
Let me see if I can get my screens back and get this video off of here. I started to pull up and show a still of the video and see if I could get a good picture up, but Bob's got it taken care of, and I didn't want to get a potential strike on your channel. All right. Bear with me. I've got to pull your stream back up. I lost my chat.
Okay.
Let's see, I can play off of the StreamYard chat here for a second. Alice has joined us. Hey, Alice, good to see you. Aquatic Aesthetic says, Ed, you can tell them what's coming up for the store announcement video about to be uploaded. Awesome.
That's fine. I was just about to read that. Well, that's awesome. He managed to get the store next door. Came up for rent, and so they offered it to him, and he grabbed it, and he's doing great. He's got a neat little store, and he's just growing and progressing, which is great. So he's gonna pop a hole in the wall, and one Sunday night, he's going to throw all the tanks in and have as many buddies as he can show up and help move the tanks. And that's what I told him, man, I would love to try to help you, but I've got such a bad back, I really can't do much moving. And that's when he said, well, if you'd like to videotape it, that'd be awesome. So I'll make a video for me and for him. And because he's got like I said, he's got a really good channel too that people need to check out and sub to. And yeah, it's just going to be super exciting to see him getting bigger. He has so much stuff in such a little store. Like, I remember last week I was talking about the Fritz, how I wish there was that Fritz instant cycle, and it was nowhere in town, and he had it. And he has a whole refrigerator of Fritz supplies, which is really cool. He supplies me with all my frozen foods. He's always got jumbo bloodworms for me, which a lot of guys don't do, so that's cool. He's got my frozen krill, and someday I'm gonna try his frozen. I don't know what it is. It's some type of minnows for feeding. I think you normally feed them to large saltwater fish, but I think that the puffer would like that too. Sweet potato might enjoy those, but they're a little too big. They're about 2.5 to 3 inches. So I think I'll let her get a little bit bigger, because I know what she'll do is she'll chomp them up and just spit the parts all over. Mm-hmm. I'd rather not make that big of a mess. But yeah, he's got an amazing variety of plants. He just got a huge shipment of Anubias. So, funny story. I bought some great Japanese hogwort. Is it hogwort?
Hornwort.
Hornwort. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I always get tongue-tied when I'm on live. But and I put my American flagfish in there because I had a lot of hair algae in there because it's my tank for growing all my plants. I keep pumping it with extra fertilizer. Well, those little guys ate all the hair algae, and then they started eating all the leaves on that thing. So now it looks like spaghetti, basically, just strings. So hopefully I can bring it back. Oh, maybe it is pennywort. Oh, it is. I bought it from him. It's definitely Japanese pennywort.
Good night, Dragon Lair. I forget when I type in StreamYard chat because I'm hosting it on your channel that it comes across as you typing. So you told Dragon Lair good night as well, Ed. And hello, Anna's Hobbies. I saw you come in a minute ago. Glad to see you.
And Dragon Lair is starting to produce videos too, which are pretty awesome.
Go check those out.
Yep. We got to support our buddies.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so it was pennywort, and it is a beautiful plant. So right now it just looks like a bunch of strings. I'm going to put it in a tank and see if it takes hold. If it doesn't, I'll just have to order some more from him because I really want a tank of that. I'd like to put that with, I don't know, something small. One of my inlers or something. That'll be cool.
So if you could only have one plant, and I mean this, you could have multiples of it, but one type of plant specifically for your fish room, what would you go with, Ed?
I'd have to go water sprite.
Water sprite. You'd get rid of that famous Chattanooga Ed Guppy grass.
Yeah, I think the water sprite is easier to handle, and it grows crazy. I bought one water sprite like 2 years ago, and now I literally have tons of water sprite too. I have more water sprite than you can shake a stick at. And I love how the fry will go and swim over the leaf. So that's like the leaves go right up to the water, but there's like this little layer of water and leaf.
Right.
And you'll see guppy fry all over the tops of those leaves because they know that nothing's going to come and get them. I really like that. And I love how the roots look. You can plant it but I don't. I let it float, and I just let the roots hang down, and it's pretty neat because that's what I put in my 200 tall, and so that's like almost 4 foot from top to bottom, and the plants are amazing. It's like they grow to the size of the tank because the water sprite in there is probably 1 foot long, but then the root column is another foot hanging. It just looks so cool. So, yeah, that would be my thing is the water sprite.
Very nice. I'm gonna go with my Java Moss. I love my Java Moss. It's so multi-purpose. I can glue it down onto stuff. I can make the floating balls. I can turn it into mats. So we've got see gnarly fish tank says pearlweed, my one plant. Bob at Kaler's Aquatic says I've been shipping water wisteria and Java Moss and willow hygrophila. Wyoming Adventure says I like moss. Pet Zotics, hey Diego says Egg, can you sell me some water sprite if you can part with some Fisher and Fever highlighted so that I would see it.
Was that Diego?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll send it to Diego, man. He's awesome. I don't know how to ship it. It gets kind of fragile, so I'll have to try to watch a video or something on how to ship it. Because I don't think you're supposed to put it in with water, because I think the water will smash it.
That makes sense.
It's kind of like the top of a carrot.
Yeah.
You know, you can kind of, but no carrot, just a lot of roots. So, I mean, I've got millions of little starters that, well, I shouldn't say millions, but hundreds of little starters, but I'd rather send a neat one because Diego is so awesome and helps everybody so much. You know, he's sponsoring the competition. I'll send him some.
So, Lefty32138 says Christmas moss, then ginger green with Christmas moss for the win. It is great stuff. I just recently got into some Christmas moss. Thanks to Ed and Bob and Roe inviting me on their local fish store adventure. I picked some up at one of their LFSs that they go to. If that stuff grows for me like the Java Moss has, I could definitely see replacing Java Moss with Christmas moss as my one plant. But I've got so much Java Moss and I'm so used to having it and all the things I do with it that it's hard for me to knock it out of that position without having a viable proving contender in my tanks.
Yeah, I think I've got some that's like was the surprise. I think the hair algae was growing like all over it, and then those little Florida flagfish cleaned it all off, and now it's like growing like crazy. And I've got like a huge Anubias plant in there, and it's being overcome by the Christmas moss. So I've got to try to figure out how to separate that. But that moss that you gave me, James,
Mm-hmm.
I have a little tree type thing that I bought that has like little platforms for putting the moss on it.
Oh, nice.
And I think it's supposed to look like a bonsai tree.
Okay.
But, you know, I got to pull that out because, you know, that's something I've had for a long time. Maybe that could go into my scrap tank. You know, since it's something I've never really used, I just bought it because it was cool.
There you go.
And you just glue it with the gel super glue?
Yeah, I just use the gel super glue, just cyanoacrylate. That's what I use on all my stuff. That's what I used to use in my saltwater tanks back in the day when I had, you know, coral frags and stuff like that. Never had a problem with it. Works great. It's good stuff. You can do so much with it. Aquatic no, I can't say it. Aesthetics says do the tree with willow moss. That would look awesome.
Now, okay, what's the willow moss?
It is similar yet different. I got to get a drink. My teeth are not cooperating with me. I'd like to keep them in my mouth.
Rob, do you have willow moss?
I've even taken on like the little tree structures and used, which is not technically moss, it's an algae, which Priscilla would very quickly tell you if she's in here still. But the Marimo moss balls, I like to, depending upon what size you're getting at, you can either take them apart and use them for the little tree poofs, or you can use whole ones, just depending upon the size that they are and what size poof you're looking for on the branch or the ledge.
That's awesome. Well, Rob said that he'll find it. That's cool. I appreciate that. Well, let me know when you do, and then I'll just get some of that.
44 Magi Fish and More said, so I guess my one plant would be dwarf aquarium lily. Good pick.
Well, I love Anubias. It grows. I mean, the bad thing is it's not going to help my fry. That's why I didn't say it.
Right.
But I love how it grows everywhere. I use low light situation. I don't buy the super expensive stuff. I love how it looks. I didn't see any videos yet, Monica. I will definitely check that out. I've been super busy. I've been hanging out with my brother so much lately. I gotta catch up with a lot of people's stuff. But what was I? Oh, the other thing I really like is here's another one I'm gonna kill. It's the Willilia. It looks like it has little hands on it. It's just like Anubias. You can glue it to things. Oh man, well, I grow it like crazy.
What's similar to the name? While you're thinking of that, Zinginger says Pogostemon octopus is good for fry, or commonly called the octopus plant.
It's really pretty.
Then we've got some guesses. Java Fern's one of the guests. Boos is another one. Wyoming Adventure says, I know what he's talking about.
Yes.
Windelov Java Fern.
Lefty. I've been growing that stuff with, how do you pronounce that? Windelove.
I say Windelov.
Windelove. Yeah. I love that stuff. It is amazing. I grow that all over the place also. And I bought my first chunk from a guy on Aquabid, and it's done really good. It's really pretty. I've got it in Bob's Pretty Tank, and I planted it in another tank, and the guppy grass killed it because the guppy grass just squeezed out the light, and I totally forgot all about it in there. So fail on me there, and that's another reason why I'm kind of don't like the guppy grass, because it goes crazy. You got to be on top of the guppy grass, man.
Oh yeah, well, and that's the thing is it's growing so fast that the LFS, I can't get it quick enough for them because it sells really, really well here. But Bob Kaler giving you a hard time. Petzotics, Diego says, I ship mosses, willow moss, Christmas moss, guppy grass, and such plants in deli cups. That's how I ship such plants, Fishroom Fever, and then Java Fern. Which,
I mean, I've got the little cups.
Candy all over it, posting the link for petzotics.com for all your pets needs. Thank you, Candy, for doing that. Very much appreciated. I've done some dealings with Petzotics. There was a Monday live stream 2 weeks ago where I opened up a box of fish food I got from him. If you want to see a massive fish food haul, go check that out. Got some awesome products.
Night, Mr. Zen. And thank you again for your generous night. You are super generous tonight.
Good night, Mr. Zen. Miss Zen, give him kisses for me so it doesn't get too inappropriate. I appreciate you very, very much. Look forward to talking to you later. And I've got a couple extra things I'm throwing in that package I'm shipping out next week. So be on the lookout for that.
But yeah, I mean, I really love plants now. It's crazy. I mean, look at this. I've bought 2 of these things. I've got the big stuff too from Mike from the Fish Tank Barn. What's that called? It's terrible. I need to, I take lots of notes, James. I need to start writing down all the names of these plants that I might end up talking about.
Bob's going to have a cardiopulmonary embolism if you keep trying to talk plants, Ed.
Okay, well, I'll stop.
No, I'm just picking on you.
No, he's right. I shouldn't talk about things that I'm not very...
I find, well, that's the thing, though, is so many people are, oh, Lord, now the word eludes me. They're scared to try things because they don't know about it. But that's one of the things that I'm really enjoying. I'm kind of trying to reinforce them. I'm working on something. I don't know when that video will come out, but it's about keeping plants without really knowing plants. I've got so many plants. I couldn't even tell you what they are off the top of my head. I'd have to look them up, and I'm getting more familiar with them. But they all do wonderfully for me. I don't dose. I don't use CO2. You can do plants without being a plant person, and that's what I think is awesome. Like what you're talking about. I was not into plants. I tried plants, over a decade ago. Killed everything. It didn't work for me. Never got back into it simply because of the cost. I just looked at it and said, "Nope, that's money in the trash. I'm not touching them again." Um, Ended up when I bought out a lady's tanks that she was breaking down for health reasons. She had a bunch of plants, and that's what got me back into it. Was they came with that. They did really well. Started propagating things. Realized how fun that was, and have just been head over heels in the plant game ever since. Loving it, and still not knowing what I'm doing.
Yeah. Well, Bentley even talked about how he was talking about trying to figure out how to do a plant club or a plant like honor system. You know how he's a master horticulturist. I hate saying big words. But so he was going to try to set that up online. Do you remember him saying that when we interviewed him?
I'm not gonna lie, I was reading the chat very, very intently, and I didn't catch what you said except for, "Do you remember that?"
What Bentley was talking about trying to set up the master plant
Yeah,
horticulturist
the Master
online.
Horticulture program. Yeah,
And I told him that I would sign up and hopefully I would learn how to just be able to pronounce the names of the plants. That would be huge for me.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be a blast. I can't wait to get in on that. I know that he's got a lot of work that has to go into it. Aquatic Aesthetics says, unless you have cichlids, replace the fake plants with real ones. And even if you do have cichlids, I tell you what, that African cichlid tank that Miss Fever has is a great place for my duckweed to go to when I'm scooping it out of the nearby tanks. It lasts just long enough to do a little bit of work, and then it's gone.
You know what I'm thinking about doing? I'm thinking about taking that hot tub that I can't get rid of and turning it into a goldfish pond.
That would be awesome.
And because I got all that duckweed. And, they can be out there year round, and I think it'd be really neat. I wanted out because I wanted to put a screened-in porch. This room is a sunroom, and underneath it is a porch that I want to screen in underneath.
Oh,
and
nice.
I want to make it a cat window, or put a cat-like door in the window, so my cats will use the litter outside the house in that area. But there's like this huge hot tub underneath me that's taking up all the space. I'd like to get rid of it, but then I thought, you know what? Every time I see Big J's pond, I don't know what I've got to do to make sure that the chlorine residue isn't in the plastic somehow. And I would seal it completely up, but it might be kind of fun.
I would think, and this is just my theory, given the way that chlorine gases out of water if left to sit long enough, I would think it would be safe. But I don't know 100% exactly how it would leach into that, we'll just say plastic, whatever that's made of.
I don't think it's had water in it for at least 6 years, because the guy that bought this house died a long time ago, and they never sold it. So that's awesome. Monica Lynn is a master gardener. That is so cool. I've probably given her a headache tonight with my. She's like, "Why am I here?" I know what ick is, so at least I know that.
Yeah, and Zen Ginger's got a really good point. It says just use lots of safe or prime and let it sit if you're really concerned.
Okay.
That'll definitely take care of it. And prime, the big bottle, takes care of 10,000 gallons, so it wouldn't be a huge expenditure to treat that safely.
Yeah, that's really cool. I was even thinking if I'd try to set up, if I'd probably use just a giant sponge filter, but if I'd try to set up some type of pump, I was thinking maybe I could do a bioactive type 50-gallon drum attached to the side, And I was thinking, I wonder if I could go through the jets to suck the water out and in.
You should be able to bulkhead it and plumb it, but it's too late. You mentioned sponge filter, so now we need to do a video on your channel of making the world's largest sponge filter.
Yeah. Corey already has it. I'd like to get one of those that Corey has, that big sucker.
Yeah. John Cox says fiberglass does not hold chlorine at Chattanooga Ed.
Oh, cool. See, that's why I do this. It's so you guys can teach me stuff. That's super cool.
Yeah, John Cox says Corey already has it. Yeah, but we're gonna build a bigger one. We're gonna get the material, and it's gonna be massive. No.
And you know what? I'm actually a professional foam carver, so I think I can probably do it. I can carve anything from foam. You know, I used to play around when the car seats were fine. We had all this foam, and I had like a bone saw, and I would carve all sorts of things. So
This thing's going to be so big, you're going to need a linear air pump just to run this one filter.
well, and I also I know somebody that owns a foam factory too, so I might be good there. I could probably do it. You know those little happy faces, scrubbies that you see like at different places?
Uh-huh.
They might have them at the dollar store or at the Dollar General. I know they have them at not Bed Bath and Beyond. Oh, it is, I think, Bed Bath and Beyond. They're like a little happy face scrubby that's yellow.
Mm-hmm.
And those are all made here in Chattanooga.
Oh, very nice. Zen Ginger says, if you're going to use a hot tub, watch out or you'll suck fish up using the jets and make a waterfall with the filter inside. Very cool.
I didn't even think about it. I was thinking about just sealing everything up. But yeah, waterfall. That would be pretty neat. Well, the problem is the cats will be walking out onto it from that angle because it's like right up against the house and the window goes right up to it. So the guy probably set it up so he used to be able to get drinks from inside. The guy who owned this house was a party animal. I mean, it's got crazy stuff in this house. So, but yeah. So I don't want to put a big waterfall on one side because I want the cats to be able to come out the window.
Absolutely. Zen Ginger posting the links for the Project Pasilia Facebook group again. Thank you very much for that, Zen. Paludarium. Let's see. Monica Lynn says, maybe you could still sit in the goldfish pond when it's stocked, sit on the built-in seat and watch the fish with mask and snorkel on live stream.
That's hilarious. Well, and you know, I was thinking, like the seats, I would put pots. So I'd have lilies coming out of those pots, maybe, and have a couple of lily pots. That was just what I was thinking.
I think that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it'd be fun. It'd be different.
Oh, yeah.
I've thought about maybe someday, if it ever gets hot, do a live stream down by the pool. It'd be funny.
The Chevy Fish says, plug the jets, fish will die in the jets.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to incorporate the jets in any way, all you'd have to do is put a bulkhead fitting, just like you do in anything that's got an overflow, just your standard overflow, almost said metal grate. You know, the cap that you put in. But yeah, there are so many possibilities with that. I think it'd be fun no matter how you did it.
Yeah, I've been trying to get rid of it for a long time, and then I've got 2 acres that I could take it down. But I mean, the problem is I've got lots of trees all over down my hill. I mean, there's also, you know, I use a big lawnmower, so I've got plenty of good grass area too. But I don't know.
Petzotic says yes. Lori, I'm going to say Grenier from Shark Tank invested in the Scrub Daddy company, so she's a partner and is from Chicago at Fish Room Fever. Very cool.
Is that the little happy faces?
Yeah.
Yeah, the packaging says that the headquarters is in Pennsylvania. It doesn't say that it's made here in Chattanooga. But see, my brother-in-law's a a big wig at the foam factory next door to that one, and they're all part of the same system. And so we get them for free. We get the reject ones, like the happy face is a little frowny, or one's got a squinty eye. But yeah, that's what we get for Christmas and stuff from him. It's kind of funny.
Chevy Fish says Corkscrew Rush is an awesome looking marginal plant to sit in a few inches of water, cool twisted foliage.
Ooh, that
There
is
you
neat.
go.
I like that stuff.
And Ed, I know this is your stream, but if I may, I want to shout out Rack at the River Life again. Awesome guy. I appreciate him letting you and I go in his time slot earlier and do his interview with Father Fish. That was a blast. He's got a YouTube, not video, YouTube live stream where he's going to be debuting some art. And then he's going to be going over to the Facebook art page as well after that, immediately following. There's going to be some fun stuff going on there. So be sure to check those out if you would. Support him. Again, all back to community. You know, he's the one that came up with this Project Posilia idea. So we just like to bring it full circle.
Oh, I was going to try to show some of his stuff on Instagram. He's also got some of his stuff on Instagram, and it's really neat. You know, it's not just his fish stuff. He's also got like some really neat other stuff. So he really shows his talents. And like I said, I know that the lily pads or the lily paintings that he did, my mom would love. I mean, I like them, but I mean, I know she would just love them. So either I imitate it and steal it, or like the idea, or yeah, we'll see what'll happen. Maybe he'll make prints or something. But
Zen Ginger requesting one of those reject scrub daddies.
I'll do my best. I'm pretty sure I can get you one.
Wyoming.
Yeah, they make all sorts of foam. It's not just the hard stuff. They make everything there. So I used to try to get them to make different things, and they just laughed at me. They didn't even attempt to contact the people that I would suggest to go to. They never. I talked to them about fish filters, and they're like, shh, nobody buys fish filters. It's like, okay. And then like the packing things that people that paint miniatures, we spend a lot of money on these little foam squares. We spend like $20 for just a little 1 inch by 12 by 12 square block to put our things in. And they laughed at me for that too. What they wanted me to do is they wanted to see if I could make them houses out of foam, because they would watch me carve different things like houses and stuff on my break, and they wanted to see if I could do that 24/7, I guess, or train people to do it. And it was like, that takes a lot of skill.
So one thing, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, I would make Halloween costumes at the factory. So, but go ahead. What were you going to say?
I was just say, I almost forgot to announce it on here. Saturday Night Fever live stream, we are going to have Guppy Guru as a special guest, so be sure to check that out. It'll be Ed, myself, and Guppy Guru. That's going to be fun. There's also one of the sponsors for Project Posilia, specifically the Posilia entry contest.
And you know, James, I consider this just as much your channel as mine. I've always considered us partners, so never feel funny about saying anything, man.
I totally agree. What's yours is mine, and what's mine is yours. I still need to do that takeover on your channel and do a video and post it.
You don't have to do that, but it'd be funny. Gosh, what else? Are we done talking? I don't know. Does anybody have any questions?
Well, we got about 7 minutes left if anybody does have any questions. Bob had a good point. Keller's Aquatic says, Ed, if you could get them to make a Murphy that Corey likes, you'd be rich. Yeah,
well, you see, the problem with them is they just make the bulk. You know, they try to just make the big chunk. They don't normally make the stuff that gets made from it. So, like, if anybody's knows anything, there's this group called Swedish Filters or Swedish Madden Filters, something like that. Or Swedish Swiss Tropics, I think is what they're called. And basically, they just specialize in cutting foam for fish tanks. Well, that factory makes probably the foam that they give to him. They don't deal with normally the small stuff unless it's huge bulk like those little faces, and then they're going to buy a stamper. But, yep. Oh, Candy has the link. That's awesome. So I thought about talking to that guy and seeing if he wanted to hire me because I can cut anything from foam. But I never did. But yeah, we've actually, it says we've been going for an hour and 50 minutes, but we've actually been going for 3 hours. So
yeah, it's almost dinner time. It's almost 1:30 in the morning.
Sheesh. I might go to Taco Bell after this.
There you go. Come pick me up. It's on the way.
Yeah. How long was that trip to that one little pet store that we went to?
Oh, honestly, I don't even remember. It was such a blast being in the car with you and Bob that time just kind of flew by.
Well, no, I meant that pet store that we met you at.
Oh, for me, that was an hour and something. It actually would have been quicker for me to meet you all at the Crossville store than it was to detour down and meet you there before going to the Crossville store, because I come all the way down the interstate. But I would have missed the store that I met you at and stopped at, and the other place up the road. So that's definitely the perfect spot to meet you all at. Where's it at? Oh, here it is. I want to show something just for giggles and grins because I made it earlier, not for marketing purposes, but since this has got you on it, I thought this would be fun to show. Now that we're getting some Chattanooga Ed stuff in here, I'll share screen.
I'd like to make a Chattanooga Ed bandana, but I think I'll ask a local guy. The people down at the bottom of the hill that I'm going to get the Tennessee bowling shirts from. Hey, yeah, we ought to do Nocturnal on the back.
It's doable. It is doable. I was trying to get with a couple people for ideas on what they would like to see on it, but everybody had life to do at that point in time. That's no fun.
I was at the Aquatic Aesthetics at Rob's place.
There you go, at Rob's place.
Next time you come down, I'll take you there too.
Definitely. I'd love to be there. Love to see it.
And hopefully the Tennessee Aquarium will be open too, and I can take you to that.
Wouldn't that be nice? I'm ready for some summertime adventures, buddy. I tell you what.
Yep. I can't wait till my Tennessee Aquarium's open. That's like exercise that I can handle. It's a lot of walking, but when you look at fish, it seems like it doesn't go, I could do it all day long, every day.
All right, got my chat back now. Yay.
Awesome. And yeah, I'm going to also say thank you to my brother and to my sister-in-law for coming in. That was really sweet of them. They're not really fishy people, so they're just here to support me, which is nice.
Oh, I appreciate y'all hanging out. It's nice to meet you.
Yep, I got Tim in his first live stream last night. He went to Dan's Fish.
Oh, nice.
Well, I told him if you want to fish, I'd set him up with a fish tank. And then the giveaway wasn't fish. It was probably the last thing a non-fishy guy would want to go do.
Yeah.
Learn about fish disease.
You're not a fish guy, but take these four days of seminars, which, by the way, that's a great thing, and I'm not knocking that. But like you said, for a non-fish guy, 4 days of online seminars learning about fish disease is not going to get him in the hobby, I don't think.
Yeah, who ended up winning that?
I forget his name.
I ended up just hanging out with my brother and sister-in-law. So.
Oh, hey, Don Cervantes. Glad to have you. Good to see you.
Hi, Don. Thanks for showing up.
Better late than never, right?
No, for sure.
It's been a blast. I don't know what you've got in store over there. Just some sneak peeks at some things that we're working on. I am doing I'm going to be doing a video with Sean Pecktech. We're going to be doing a video together on my channel, so that's going to be awesome. Date and time still to be determined. Of course, we've got Guppy Guru coming on Saturday. I'm also going to be having Detroit Shrimp and Aquatics the Saturday after that as our guest. What else?
Who do we have this Saturday?
Guppy Guru.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
For sure.
And I'll just throw it out there. If anybody would like to set up to be a guest on a stream, we're always open to have people on. Contact, I'll just say myself, so that we're not putting work on Ed. You can message me on Facebook Messenger, Fish Room Fever, or you can email me, fishroomfever@gmail.com.
I asked GRB like a million years ago.
Yeah, we didn't get GRB on here.
So he could have we've had Blackie on here just talking on our Nocturnal show, but I don't think we've ever had an Australian as our official guest.
We don't. Oh, that reminds me. I'm going to be on the Aquamate channel on... I'll find that date. Continue talking.
Okay. Well, it'd be cool to have somebody exotic. So that would be awesome. And then, let's see. We also have those guys that we met at the Big Fish deal that asked us they would like to be on the show. And they talk about fish tank design and outdoor aquarium or outdoor ponds and whatnot. Do you remember they donated the Flugel Flex to the show?
Yeah.
Do you have their card still? It was a card that was almost invisible.
No, that was the scan card like I have that you tap your phone to, but you had their physical business card.
Yeah, but their card, they didn't realize came out so bad, and they put silver writing on white shiny paper.
Oh.
And it was almost impossible to read. But we'll try to find those guys.
Yeah, because I didn't get their information because you had their physical card. So, But yeah, we'll try and find that. At some point, I need to get with Spartan Aquatics. They actually had agreed to do a live stream at some point. So need to get with them. Got a lot of stuff in the works. It's just a matter of getting it all scheduled. So stay tuned to the Chattanooga Ed channel and the Fish Room Fever channel. You never know where we're going to pop up or who we're going to be with.
Priscilla said she wanted to talk shrimp, but we already did that. Did we do that? I've talked shrimp with Chris, but I don't know if James has talked shrimp.
I haven't really talked shrimp. I think the first talking shrimp is going to be with Detroit Shrimp and Aquatics. Yeah,
so Priscilla, we'll still talk shrimp with you. Priscilla, she's like our a comedian that comes on all the time on Saturday Night Live.
I think that we should talk shrimp with Priscilla next week on your channel on that Nocturnal feeding show.
That'll work for me.
Put her on the spot there.
Priscilla. And unfortunately, I got like a 15-second delay. So if she has a delay thinking about it, I just stare. But yep, that would be fun. Priscilla's always welcomed. And she can also draw if she wants. Or she doesn't have to draw.
John Cox asking, says, there was a great LFS in Red Cap area back in 1989. Is it still around?
Is Red Cap somewhere around Chattanooga? There's Red Bank. Maybe he's talking about Red Bank.
Sorry, go ahead.
Really, Bob Kaler would be the guy to ask about the area and fish stores, even though I don't know how long he's lived here. So 89 is a long time. I've only lived in Chattanooga for about 3 years. So, John, I'm really probably asking questions.
Aquatic Aesthetics says, nope, they closed. And then Sand Creek Aquatics, Nathan says, I'm giving a t-shirt away Monday for my 300 subs at Fish Room Fever. Yeah, I'm still supposed to be a guest on Sand Creeks at some point when we get a date nailed down for certain. So be on the lookout for that as well. I don't get to be the guest very often. So
Yeah, I need to talk to Sand Creek and see if he wants me to still be his co-host, because that's a lot of fun. I totally missed last week's. I didn't realize he was doing it, and sorry about that.
all right. Well, we are coming up on the 2 hour mark for good old analytics and viewing time purposes, so we can get Ed some watch hours here and get his channel rolling. So since this is on your channel, I'll let you close it down. Say my customary. Thank you very much to everybody. Roll the thank yous over from the previous stream. All still very greatly appreciated. Until next time, keep your fish healthy, keep yourselves healthy, and catch yourself a little fish room fever.
Awesome. And thank you to all the mods that came. I really appreciate it. Y'all did a wonderful job. I really need to check to see who is a mod, because it's everybody's just got a black name. And I apologize for that, guys. I really appreciate you all. Nobody was like a jerk to me, so you must be doing a good job.
So,
thank you all for showing up. I hope it wasn't too boring, and we'll catch you next week. Bye-bye.